And I covered yet again today.
With her?
Yeah.
Just a friendly reminder.
Hey, I'm going to a podcast. Do you have your key? Yeah, it's on my purse. She always does the...
You gotta hide one somewhere else, though, too. You always have to have an emergency backup ready to rock and roll somewhere. And I know you don't trust people and you assume that a criminal is going to dig through literally everything to find it.
You mean...
Welcome to the Full Charge Power Hour. I'm Matt Fulcheron, interrupting my own podcast. Patreon.com/The Full Charge is going to get you, Jesus Christ, we got to start making content for the Patreon people.
That's fair.
But in the meantime, it keeps us in business. We want to keep improving the studio. And also, I'm on tour. Look at that. I'm all across Craig. Look at that. I'm all in Craig's.
Yeah,
I'm all in Craig's business.
It's all good. Again, I've been married so long, it doesn't even bother me. Yep. Doesn't even bother me.
Check me on tour, on the Bro Adjacent tour. I'm realizing that I am completely blocked by the computer. You guys were talking about...
Oh.
You were still talking about...
No, it's just Bryan always giving great advice that I probably won't listen to.
Now I feel like...
Yeah, you're saying hide a key?
Yeah, always hide. Always.
But I don't have a house. I'm in an apartment. There's just a door.
But you can put a box, like a lockbox, on your...
No, he already said no lockbox. He won't.
No, because to me, a lockbox is someone goes, hey, there's something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's tweakers that come and just patrol more than our security does.
So what you're saying is your kid actually has to remember...
You fucking ain't right.
...to bring their key when they leave.
Damn straight.
And here's the thing. Tweakers are probably, at times, just as creative as people in production. Like, I was on a scout the other day. We couldn't get into something. The guy just turned to me and he goes, I've got bolt cutters in the car. I'm like, let's...
Dude, I can't tell you how many times.
Let's take a step back and let's talk about why we don't need to use bolt cutters to do our job.
Yeah.
Straight to bolt cutters.
Dude,
some people are just ready to break the law. Please give me an excuse to break the law.
Yeah, but it's always or you could just wait 5 minutes for the key.
The guy's on his way.
It's going to happen but even if it doesn't happen, how about we don't commit the crime today?
Right.
Just to get something.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, and I don't know if you want to talk about this at all, but I sure do. You were in business with somebody where do you want to use names?
No.
Okay.
Is this recent?
No.
So listen, there was a A-list actor that Bryan wanted to work with, and the actor was open to it as a director.
Yeah.
And
I talked about money with somebody else.
See, they don't like to talk about money.
Well,
no,
you got to hear this.
And the person said, "Yeah, I can help you get the money." And so I set up the meeting with the
A-lister.
And then something inside of me said, maybe I should just do a little bit more background on this person that I'm bringing into the mix.
Sure.
I Googled
That's
them.
solid.
I Googled them, and the first thing that came up was that they were arrested for bank robbery. I was like...
That's awesome. I mean,
no, I know.
Bank robbery is like other level crime.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
It's antiquated.
Yeah.
It's
pretty great.
It's like robbing a steamboat or something.
The bottom line is...
No one robs banks anymore.
No, they don't. That's only on TV. You're like, hold on, you robbed a bank?
Yeah.
Like how, what, in the 70s?
Now, just imagine the phone call I needed to make to that person of hey...
so is this true?
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, so are you Willie Banks?
Yeah.
They call you...
it turned out...
Jeff Withdrawal, they call him.
Jeff Withdrawals.
That was his... Yeah, everybody has to have a bank name, right? Like a bank
Whenever
name.
you had a meeting with him, did he ever just slide a piece of paper over to you to read? Like, here, just read that, everything I need.
Yeah, he goes into the meeting and he said, no, I'm not giving you $10 million. You'll be giving
me $10 million.
in unmarked bills.
No, but Bryan did call the guy.
I did.
As Bryan does.
Now, this is before he went to the meeting?
We never had the meeting. The meeting was called off.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, all right. I don't really have any cred in the business. I don't want the first time that I do
That was a bad way
yeah.
to start. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I don't work with bank robbers.
Yeah.
All right? Call me uptight. Call me old-fashioned.
Solid. Oh, you big pussy. You don't work with bank robbers.
It turns out,
Yeah.
and this is what Matt and I were kind of laughing about, was there are certain things in life that you don't do. You don't yell fire in a crowded theater.
Sure.
You don't talk about bombs at an airport.
Yeah.
and you don't make jokes about robbing banks at a bank because you will get arrested immediately.
For sure.
So that's what happened.
Oh, is that what he told you?
Oh no, it clears. The story clears.
So what was his joke? Did he drop, I'm going to rob this fucking bank?
I don't know what it was, but ultimately the thing is, no one cares whether you're joking in the moment. And that's what we were talking about. Like they immediately, it was like take down, arrested. You know what I mean? Like you're going through you said this is what you were going to do. We're taking you at your word.
Yeah.
And he's now learning, which is what a lot of people do when they say, I'm funny too. It's like, be careful where you're funny, okay? Because it's not.
Yeah.
Be funny on a stage. Be funny with your friends.
Right.
Don't try to be a kidder in the wrong place because you may be taken down.
I don't know why people are trying to get these laughs out in just public. Man, if somebody pitches me a softball, I'll fucking swing.
Yeah.
But like going out of my way to be like, I'm gonna make these people in line laugh.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I don't want any. When I go out in public, I don't want anybody to notice me at all.
I can, when you're done, I can add to the bomb jokes in the airport.
Well, yeah, you've covered this, but I'd love to go over this again.
I will just say, I mean, you guys know me. In the end, I always feel for somebody like that,
Sure.
like because it was true. He was never he was arrested,
So
but
he never
was
went to
never
court?
convicted. No, because they. The worst part, and this is what I feel, is like I could only imagine in that moment he thought he was doing something funny, and then the instant regret one must have had when they realized.
Get out of the fucking ground! That's your instant. Whoa, what's going on?
Yeah. That's what I mean is I feel bad for that part of it. Like,
Yeah, you know what's never happened to me? I never got arrested at a bank for making a joke about robbing a bank.
Because the best part is when all that gets triggered, it's like out front, it's like, yeah, and everybody comes in like guns blazing.
You thought it was going to be a pain in the ass to wait in line at the bank instead of go to the ATM.
Yeah.
Now you're getting booked. Now you're getting fingerprinted.
Yeah, dude.
Now you're going to court.
To put a button on it.
Now your meeting with A-list actor is done.
Yeah.
Oh man, forever.
To put a button on it, I had to explain to him like there is no way around continuing this meeting. Can never happen. I know you're innocent, but you have to understand, like, if you have to start by saying, before we get started, I just want you to know I didn't rob that bank.
Right.
We're done.
Never start.
Like,
never start with I didn't commit this felony. You know what I mean? Have something else.
Yeah, it's just not gonna.
I think that's more of a by the way after the meeting goes well, but that's me trying to get a job. That's not me trying to.
Yeah.
I'm not in your position.
Oh, dude.
So-
How long ago was it? I mean,
That's a long time ago.
About 10
The
years ago.
still comes
About
up.
10 years ago.
Barely, not the way it used to, and which is because he's a legit dude. He's the guy of legit life. He's, you know what I mean. But it's still in there somewhere.
Is that in his social media bio, like on Instagram bio? It's like at Jeff Stevens, wrongly convicted of robbing a bank. Everything worked out, so he never went to jail or anything.
No. Not that I know of. I mean, obviously, it was one of those. I get it. Like,
Now, Mr. Stevens, you are aware that making jokes about robbing a bank in the bank is a felony.
I do now.
Yeah,
I really do now.
I'm more than certain.
I get it. I totally get it.
I was telling him that I was traveling with a guy recently who was like, yeah, we almost got kicked off the plane for making this joke. And then he does the joke, but we're in the airport while he's telling me this
You're like,
story. And I'm like,
"Don't
dude,
do
you're
the
doing
joke."
the same thing. We can get kicked right out of this airport, too.
Absolutely.
Now we're stuck in New Orleans. No big deal for you. You don't have in-laws here.
I can't have layovers here.
I can't do it.
I have to visit people.
Yeah, exactly. We need to get to Florida pronto, dude. So just keep that story quiet.
Which is something you thought you'd never say.
Yeah, and then this is a full charge Power Hour classic. Your dad's friends thought he was funny.
Yeah, so I'm like 9, 10, and I brought back in this suitcase, an old funky suitcase, by the way.
you were good with those.
Like I had my luggage, and then I had this special suitcase that's just like old timey, and it click, and it flips up, right, and it's just full of rocks. Because I collected rocks while I was in Alaska.
That must have been very heavy.
Yeah, I'm
continue.
10. Yeah, so I have the heaviest suitcase in the
I
world.
love this, dude.
And
I
it's
love
other
this.
random shit, rocks and random shit. And we're in the airport, and for some reason they brought their friend, this dude Dave, who's just their funny friend.
That was the deal back in the day. You could go to the airport and just drink or
yeah, and everybody
out.
could hang out.
Yeah.
Right by the gate.
One time in Baltimore, my friend was landing, and his dad was picking him up, but we went there anyway just to say hi to him for 5 minutes.
With his dad.
Yeah, his
What's
dad.
up, dude?
We saw his dad over there. We didn't really say hi to him because we were young and kind of weird. But we knew it was his dad, and then
That's great.
And then he showed up, and then we handed him off to his dad, and we went back to our dorm.
See you guys later.
Those were the days.
That is. Those were
Pre
the
9/11.
days.
People don't know. The kids don't know.
No, not at all. You
It was like
walk
catching
right
a-
up to the door.
It's like catching a train.
Yeah.
You just show up, get on the
In
plane.
movies.
Like they didn't even scan your ticket, so it was your responsibility to get on the plane. You could get on the wrong plane, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
didn't
paying
look-
attention.
If you were at the wrong gate.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And probably end up in Paris.
Just anything.
Well, that
And
would
they'd be
not
like,
so bad.
oh, bonjour. And you're
Yeah.
like, hey.
Why not? right?
I had a friend who ended up in like Chicago when he was supposed to go to Spokane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So my dad's friend, we're all standing there, and they go and they're scanning my luggage, my suitcase, and they stop, reverse, and you see everybody just, hey, call a couple people over. What's in this suitcase? And they're looking at me, right?
Yeah.
A child.
Right.
And I'm just like, and before I could say rocks, my dad's buddy goes, it's a bomb.
Okay.
And did people just got serious faces, backed up? I don't know if a button was pushed or whatever, but those doors that you never see open on the wall, boom,
Yeah.
open, people coming out. Sir, we're going to have to ask you to step away from the luggage.
Sir, we live for this shit, and it's
Yeah,
finally happening.
They've been hiding behind that door for years.
So the best part is knowing my dad and his buddy, they're high as fuck.
Okay.
So they're stoned out of their mind. There's no way that my dad did, hey, before we get Craig, let's fucking roast this motherfucker and then we'll go wait for him.
Yeah.
So that we'll be high while we're waiting.
Sure.
So
Why
they're-
wait sober for
Yeah,
your kid?
absolutely.
Because what could go wrong?
So they grab Dave, just like, Chew, you're coming with us. And I'm just like, am I going to get my rocks?
Are my
going
rocks
on?
actually a bomb?
Yeah. And yeah, it just got super serious. They take Dave off into another room, and my dad's just like, hey, so, since it's just rocks, can we go? And they're like, yeah, you're free to go.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So you guys just left
We
them?
didn't leave,
okay.
but my dad's like, let's leave this area.
You should.
Yeah.
Before
My
anything
dad's
else,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Get out to the parking lot.
My dad's like, yeah, I just don't want to be right here.
Yeah.
So we walked down the way, and then they finally let Dave out, and they just those cops when they're like they don't want to let you go. Mm-hmm. And that one cop, his last statement was he just looked at him and he just looks him in the eye. He goes, "You're really lucky you're not flying anywhere tonight, because if you were, you wouldn't be getting on that plane." Dave's like, "Okay, am I free to go?"
Can I get in this car?
Yeah. And they're like, yeah. Next time you're here, though, and then he points at the sign, no jokes.
No jokes. Was that guy Liam Neeson, by the way?
Yeah, honestly. And then my dad just started laughing. He goes, yeah, no jokes, dumbass. Let's go.
So where is Dave now?
So that should be the sign everywhere. Don't be so specific. Just no jokes. No jokes at the airport.
Yeah.
No jokes, in a crowded theater. No jokes at
no fuck
a
around
bank.
zone.
I would love if like a cashier would just point to a sign like, "Hey man, no jokes."
No jokes.
Actually, I think I'd take it even further. Like, you're not as funny as you think you are. No jokes. Like, just like, let's preemptively let you know whatever it is you think is going to crush right now
Right. It's just
How about-
not.
is
about-
only your spirit.
How about just boo?
Ooh. Bomb
Don't
jokes.
quit your day job. Just written on the fucking wall.
Smart ass. Oh, that's good times.
Yeah. So thanks for coming out, guys. I have nothing planned.
Oh.
I've just been I've been racking my brain on the way over here because I can't even look at my calendar because we got to use my phone to tape.
Oh.
I do know that I went to the Improv on Wednesday night and I did not get drunk. The streak is over. The drinking streak is over.
right.
I never want to have another hangover as long as I fucking live. It's no way to live. Of course, I'm going to a wedding in Jacksonville.
All right,
there
well,
it
now
is.
you're back.
You know,
and you're
Our
back.
next hangover.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink. He knows. He's smart. He can just cut it off. You try to do the dance with the devil that I do. It's like, oh, I'll just have two and then cut myself off.
Yeah.
Guess what two makes you want to do?
Have a third and
Just
fourth.
guzzle the punch bowl.
But you have a good theory, which is, especially if you're drinking beer, because I don't know, I can't speak for the non-alcoholic liquors.
yeah.
Ew.
But
You mean like
I think you just spoke for him. So
you mean just drinking it to have the flavor in your mouth?
So no, he was staggering. So basically, he would go one legit, and you can't tell the difference on the second one because you've already got the beer taste in your mouth.
Well, so hold on.
So
Let's
you
slow
slow
down.
the roll.
Let's slow down a little bit. What he's saying is, I got 1 6-pack of Peronis with alcohol in it.
Okay.
1 6-pack of alcohol-free Peronis.
That's weird.
It's not weird.
No, they taste
when you
pretty
drink
close.
2 and then you're buzzing and you want that third one and you pop the non-alcoholic beer and your brain is tricked.
It still
Your
thinks
brain
it's-
thinks you're drinking another Peroni
All right.
that you want so fucking badly,
Yeah.
but you're not getting any more drunk. It worked like a charm.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I'm doing this
I mean,
from
I
now
see your
on.
method.
But you got a placebo, or you got to switch to like a sativa
Right.
edible, and then you're like, I'm getting drunk right now, but your body's like, no, you're just getting high, bro.
You just-
relax. We're gonna sleep in. Everything's gonna be fine. You have your fun. You have your little frat
Right.
party adventure.
Right.
But it's not real.
That's okay. That makes sense. I think it's just drinking. Like me and the wife have the conversation about decaf and like non-alcoholic
Right. Yeah.
beverages,
Yeah.
and we're both like, yeah, they just didn't even need to exist.
Right. Well,
Here's what doesn't need to exist.
My
Twinkie,
attitude.
Twinkie lights.
What?
Twinkie light. Like if you're if you're
Oh,
having
just
a
eat
Twinkie,
a goddamn Twinkie.
but the decaf coffee I get.
I don't.
You know, well, people with heart conditions.
I
get
want
it,
shitty
'cause
water.
Yeah, but that's because you're addicted to the shitty water. Like you're addicted to the alcohol, so you just need the taste. You need that, or for a lot of people, they need to just move a bottle up and down.
it's like a pacifier.
Sure.
It's like they kind
That's
of
all
need
it
it.
is.
Yeah, drink
it's an
tea.
expensive pacifier, by the way. Non-alcoholic beer is not cheaper than alcoholic
No!
beer.
I just.
And they should warn you at the liquor store because one time I almost bought 2 6-packs of non-alcoholic beer.
Whoa.
I put them on the counter and I paid for it. And I go, "Whoa, this is non-alcoholic, man. You got to
Right.
tell somebody."
Why aren't these by the water? These should be white water.
They're right next to the Peronis.
They shouldn't be.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And so
they
I
should
had
be.
to switch them out. Thank God in heaven. I got drunk that night. Whew, whew.
That was
God
close.
forbid I think my own thoughts for 5
you
minutes.
imagine?
Close.
By
Yeah.
the way, you can't buy non-alcoholic beer under the age of 21.
Are you fucking...
Because it's got
there's something in
0.005% alcohol in it. It's technically alcohol. But you would have
It's
to...
like Mormon beer?
The amount of beer you would have to drink,
I think Listerine has more alcohol in it.
you couldn't get
It
drunk
does.
off. You couldn't get drunk off that, right? Off
Listerine?
non-alcoholic beer?
You can?
Listerine, you
No.
can.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah.
just chug half of that bottle.
Oh, my dad used to tell me that dudes would do alcoholics when my dad was in the Navy on a sub.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Now imagine being underwater for X amount of time.
How are we
Sure.
out of fucking mouth?
Yeah, yeah. now you know why.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know, dude. I counted the cases and that's
Yeah.
what was in there.
That's legit.
Huh.
He seems to be always drunk, but his breath smells amazing.
God damn, you smell
Actually, no,
great.
it doesn't. Listerine does not smell good. By
Oh,
the way,
Listerine's horrible. I forgot about that. Yeah.
You're talking the gold kind?
Yeah,
No,
the original.
I'm talking
Oh.
the mint flavored.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
When there
hard
was
stuff.
this initially before they started flavoring it. I mean that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
You could tell when people had that, and you're like, what?
It was clinical.
Yeah.
It just killed the germs.
Yeah,
It didn't give you like good breath. It gave you neutral
You might
breath.
as well just spray Lysol in your mouth.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure if you went into that factory, it's like, well, on the left here we're making pine sol, and over here, this is for breath, this is
Right.
for your mouth.
I remember I had a girlfriend who was just like, "What are you doing with that shit?" Because I was such an old school kid.
Sure.
I was such like leftover from the. My dad
Yeah,
isn't a
without a
boomer.
doubt.
My dad is actually like the last year of the forgotten silent generation. So he's like Don Draper's generation. So we had like no glitz in my family. It was
No
like
glitz.
you had to feel the pain of a mouthwash.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Earn
mean?
it
You
up.
had to experience it.
Right.
You had to earn it.
Yeah.
And that's like where we're drinking day old milk, we're buying day old bread,
Right.
all that shit.
Right.
My dad's got all this stuff left over, and that's how I was for the longest
No,
time.
I was gonna say because that Listerine's really goes a long way because you could also clean the rims of your car with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, the worst combination was Old Spice Listerine combo, like back in the day. You know, I'm talking about the glass bottle.
I brought Old Spice back.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah. No.
Do they have a new scent at least?
Well, Wolf's Bane. There is a line,
There,
but
there can't be new Old Spice. There's always like a hint of Old Spice, no matter
Yes.
what they drop into it.
I just went back to the old glass bottle.
Good for you,
It's
man.
cheap, dude. I was on set, and this was weird. One of the truck driver guys, good looking dude, beard, like a man, not gay at all.
Okay.
And we're standing in line. He's like, bro, what are you wearing? And I said, it's Old Spice. And he goes, that fucking smells good, man. And I was just like, oh, this is odd.
Yeah, that is odd.
And then, and I'm like, well, in the gay world, I am a type. Not in the females world, but
that sounded
gay
like
world, you bet.
that sounded like another straight dude who was like, I'm switching up my game.
That's how he was.
To be like this guy.
I was all, yeah, that shit's cheap, dude. He goes, yeah? Yeah, dude. It's like
okay, so
$15 a big ass bottle of that.
So for anyone that might be younger than us,
right.
That was like Old Spice was like from the old guard. Like our generation
sure.
was the first to go. Like, first of all, we're not a cologne generation at all.
No.
And second of all, Old Spice was what your teachers
Grandpa
wore.
used it.
Yeah, like older people wore it, and you were like, you weren't there.
Right.
But what you're doing is saying like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Old Spice.
I'm retro
Yeah.
and $15. Are you kidding? The thing lasts me like almost a year.
Of course it does. Is every day a cologne day?
Only when I shave.
Yeah.
shave.
Oh, it's aftershave. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I use that in Brute.
Yeah, I don't even use aftershave anymore. I got to get back in on
That's
this,
why I
man.
did. I was like, you know what? Old man Coleman's gonna throw some gasoline on his face because it burns when you put it on.
I think I used to have some Stetson when I was a teenager.
Yeah, so did
the kind that would only let a little bit out. And you're like fucking Macaulay Culkin.
dude, okay. Yeah.
True statement.
You put Stetson on and then you got yourself some Backwood Smokes, dude. The only thing what was the commercial? Backwood Smokes, the only thing that could look so wild or taste so mild but look so wild or something like that was you.
Yeah, I love those old cigarette commercials. They're like, taste bold. I asked my dad, I'm like, these cigarettes taste good? He's like, cigarettes don't taste good.
No.
He's like, taste is not the right word for it. That's why you need that hard ass Listerine.
Right.
Get rid of the fucking Winstons in your mouth.
Oh, could you imagine a Listerine, Old Spice, and cigarette combo that you had to live with?
Yeah. Now you're making babies.
That is
now you start
brutal.
with families. That's a real man.
Right? That's a real man.
That shit works though, dude. If you smoke Winston's and have the fucking, if you just go full, like male like that, there's a lot of women that are like, yeah.
There you go.
I dig this guy.
I mean, that guy could also make a pipe bomb out of like maybe 2 more ingredients underneath.
Yeah,
the sink.
And he can fix your sink while he's doing it.
And fix that sink.
Yeah. You can destroy your sink and fix the sink.
I think there is something to be said, though. It's like, well, that's all they had back then. So that was deemed acceptable until they knew that there was other scents and flavors and, a better world out there. You know what I mean?
Don't you love after watching Mad Men that they still had to advertise that bullshit? It's turpentine for your mouth. All right, let's take lunch, boys. I think we nailed it.
There's some other guy in the office like, well, I give my wife orgasms. They're like, what? Who has that kind of time? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Women have orgasms?
Women have orgasms.
What for?
They don't like sex.
What purpose does it serve?
That doesn't make a baby, Mike.
Seriously though, what the purpose does a female orgasm serve? Does it make the ovaries pop out better, or is it just so they have something?
I think it's so that they can enjoy it.
Okay, cool.
It's weird.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So they don't need to advertise it.
Right. And I can cut this out if you guys like, if you don't want to look like this much of a novice. But but they don't put it anywhere near the sex act, or they put it near the sex act, but not. You got to do some extra work.
Right.
It's like nature's way of saying you got to earn this shit, cowboy.
Right.
You can't just fucking do your thing.
Yeah, they're not.
You got to do her thing too.
Yeah, they're not teaching it in sex ed.
Interesting.
The important stuff.
Pleasure?
Right. Pleasure.
The whole
enjoyment.
pleasure thing is not really part of the act.
I was so lucky. I went to Catholic school my whole life, but for 7th and 8th grade, I went to public school. And this is back when public schools had like real funding. And I learned so much here. I learned about like credit card debt, which they would not teach you at Catholic school. They want you in credit card debt. They want you paying.
Right.
But they also taught us sex ed, and I think they even covered the clitoris in fucking sex ed.
Well, you went to a better school than I did.
This school was amazing. It was called Esperanza Middle School, which I think means hope. And there was hope. It was like very diverse, but great great education,
That
man.
probably explains a lot. I went to South High.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you get what you get. You're on the south side of town.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Above the...
You're going to get a
You get what
Southside
you get.
education.
Good luck.
Yeah.
We were the only school that had a fence with barbed wire around it.
To keep you in?
And I know that sounds ridiculous. Yeah, mostly to keep people in.
Wow.
No, it's to keep people out.
Right.
We would
Was the
get
mascot your
vandalized.
dad on a snowmobile?
That's
that
hilarious.
would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Yeah, our sex ed class was literally the gym teacher.
Yeah.
Like, when they get hey, you got time. Mike, you're gonna teach sex ed
Right.
on third period.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, all right. And he just came in his short shorts, his, little zip up
Yeah.
hoodie and clipboard.
Yeah.
And just came in with a mission, and it's just like, gonorrhea,
Yep.
Right.
VD.
Yep. Always lead with all the.
Yeah.
The fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he would say to girls, you have sex, you're getting pregnant. You're having a baby.
But was he right? For a lot of the
he's
kids
not
at your
wrong.
school?
I mean, the guy just...
Did you have a high teen pregnancy rate at your school?
we had a daycare.
Okay.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay, well then, so he was right in that part of the
Not wrong at
conversation.
all.
Oh,
No. I mean, he fucking nailed it. And
Well, that is when it's easy to get pregnant when you're young.
for sure.
Yeah.
And the one thing he did that I remember, it was the most horrifying thing ever. He just is like, women, girls, look around the room at all these dudes. He goes, every single one of them are chronic masturbators right now. And all the guys are just like,
What was his point?
No, I'm not.
I love it, but what was
Sir?
his point of where?
Sir,
He's just-
no jokes in here, please. No jokes. These are children you're talking about.
So what was his point?
his
of that?
whole point was, he's just like, trust me, they all want to have sex with you right now.
I mean that.
Yeah.
Again, he's not. So far, I'm
So
trying to figure out where
he's batting
wrong.
100.
Yeah.
I mean,
we went to school in such a weird time because it was like the keep it real generation
Yeah.
met the hippie generation.
Right.
And we were like the gray area.
Yeah.
So they would like say shit like that.
Right.
That like if you guys heard someone in your kid's class said that, there'd be like a PTA meeting.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
But they
The
could do
torch is
that,
out.
and like you could go home and say something, but you didn't want to go home and say something. You don't want to bring
Oh.
up masturbation to your parents,
Right.
Even if I did, my dad would be like, what, was he wrong?
Right, exactly.
He's like, this fucking guy keeps taking the longest showers. That's why our
Yeah.
water bill's up.
If he didn't say it, I was.
Yeah, what's his name? I want to send him $5.
I'd like to shake his hand.
Yeah, totally. Then he, what was the other one? Then he would be like, after sex ed, it was like, boom, red asphalt. Because it was also driver's ed. Oh, it was sex ed / driver's ed. You probably see me do that joke on stage, but that's literally what the class was.
I love this.
And so,
Sex ed and driver's
yeah,
ed, same thing.
So after he gives
they
you all
just changed
that,
the first part.
Yeah,
of it. Keep the
exactly.
hyphen and the ed.
Right.
Yeah.
You just erased the first part. Everything was taught on a chalkboard,
totally.
so it's not
yeah,
like.
pretty much.
We're saving chalk here,
Yeah,
folks. Elon Musk doesn't have to touch this school.
Right. Then he did, red asphalt. You ever see those? The driver's ed red asphalt?
No, what is that?
They're like car crashes from the 50s.
Oh, you mean he showed like
The videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that, again, lead with
Yeah.
the worst things possible.
Right.
Those videos are fucking awesome.
Harsh.
They're
Yeah,
fucking-
they are great.
because
Yeah.
they're crudely made
Yes.
by kind of like local productions or whatever, or
Right.
government productions.
Right.
And they're just watch what happens when Susie doesn't use her blinker. That type of stuff. And
Yeah.
It's like boom, but then it's actual footage.
Then it's
Yeah,
footage.
then it turns into
yeah.
faces of death.
Yeah.
Right. Then it's faces of death. Hey, this is what happens when your head hits the fucking dashboard at 70 miles an hour.
I told you we had a guy come in that was just like, because we had a notoriously drunk driving town.
So did
Like
we,
it was
yeah.
just famous. I mean, I think it was everywhere back
Right,
then. But
right.
but we have all these curvy roads and stuff. So this guy came in to
I
tell
like
us.
how you're blaming the roads, but continue.
Well, and it's the alcohol and the curvy
okay.
roads.
No, that's fair. We were on
And just people colliding into trees.
Yeah, there's that part.
constantly.
yeah, he's right. We were on a grid and we still had a problem.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
curvy
so-
roads has got to be even
But
worse.
the guy, I'll never forget how funny it was because the dude's like, he's a cop, and he's like, and I opened that passenger door, and you guess what I saw? Guess what I saw? And he goes, who said brains? Who said brains? That's exactly what we saw. Brains scattered all over the dashboard. It was like, ah! It was a hell of a show. It was a hell of a show this guy brought to our auditorium.
I got to give both of
Our
your
pep
guys, teachers, speakers, whatever you want to call them, I give them a lot of credit sadly, I don't think they made any impact on any kid
No, wrong.
at all.
No.
Wrong. I have no children, and I don't drink and drive,
Oh.
and I haven't been in a drink and driving accident.
No,
Knock on
but in
fucking
general.
wood.
His school
My
had a
brains
daycare.
are in my head.
His school had a daycare, so
Right,
clearly
right.
that class wasn't working very well.
Well,
even though the dude was spitting out legitimate knowledge,
Not,
in
all
fact.
not all those kids were listening. I listened to that
Yeah,
shit.
not all the kids were listening, and there's just a responsibility to tell people because some people actually don't know. So you have to at
Right.
least say it out loud, which I don't think they do anymore.
Right.
I don't think they have teachers talk to kids about sex. Do they? You guys have kids.
My-
Is there a sex ed? Is it back to your responsibility?
I think it is.
I
I
think-
think they've gotten rid of that.
I think so.
My kid might have went to some kind of low key
Sure.
talk, but my wife filled her in like pretty fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
Like my dad. Have I already talked about my dad's
Let's
advice?
talk about this. I'm glad I didn't plan
My
anything.
dad's always just he's very base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when he talks to you like real. Like all these teachers, he's just real with shit. So my mom had already tried to do some kind of sex talk, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And
Yeah.
hers is real flowery.
Sure.
And then my dad, I could tell that she's just like, you gotta go talk to Craig, because whenever my dad had to do that shit, he's just like, all right,
Spark one up.
spark one up, knock, knock, knock.
Call Dave.
Yeah.
Dave, come over.
Comes in, hey, why don't you turn that shitty music off? All right, bud. Sits, grabs the chair, and he just goes, all right, we're gonna talk about sex. I'm like, fuck, all right. And he goes, so here's the number one: don't rape girls.
Okay.
Key.
He goes, there's plenty of them out there that'll give it up, no problem.
It's an interesting lead, but I mean,
It is.
a good lead,
Like
but
I s-
interesting lead.
Like I said, my dad's like, we're gonna wrap this up in 5.
Yeah.
Well, it's an important message right off the bat.
It is.
Absolutely.
You know?
He started with
Right?
crime. He
That-
started with how sex
Yeah.
is actually can be a crime.
And guess what? They don't cover that in sex ed.
No, they don't. Well,
No,
they
they
may.
don't.
I don't think
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't bother with that because that's not
Right.
the curriculum. I say nice added bonus.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I go, okay, that's solid. And then he follows that with, and if you get them pregnant, you're fucked. And this is my stepdad, by the way. So he goes like, and no offense, but raising someone else's kid's kind of a pain in the ass.
Okay. All right.
He goes, I love you. You've been around a long time, so it's all good. But and then he goes, so let's say you get your girlfriend pregnant. I go, okay. He goes, what are you doing after school today? And I go, oh, well, I'm good. He goes, no, you're not. You're going to work.
Oh, you just role played. You just role played what would happen.
Yeah, he goes,
Okay.
you got to go to work. He goes, you can't go do anything.
Yeah.
And I go, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, you get out, 3:30? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, you fucking straight to work. He goes, and, you get off work around 10 o'clock. What are you going to do? I go, I guess he goes, homework. Now you got to do your homework. Oh, fuck, it's like almost midnight. You better get to bed. You got to go to school in the morning.
Right.
And then work. Then he goes, all right, cool. So it's Friday night. He goes, it's Friday night. He goes, what are you doing? And I go, probably go to no, not hanging out with Richard. No, fuck that. He goes, you got to go to work, dude. He goes, now it's your weekend. They can work you till 1 o'clock in the morning. He goes, all right, so now you've worked, and then you wake up at around, let's say 10 o'clock. What are you going to do Saturday? And I go, probably goes, it's time your turn to be with the baby.
I was wondering when he was actually going to bring a child into this speech.
She's had that baby all day. He goes, you're going to have to go pick up that baby for let's say 6 hours, because then you got to go to work again at 7.
Right.
And then he goes, now it's Sunday. And he goes, you don't go to church? And I go, he goes, I go, get the baby? He goes, yeah, you're going to be with the goddamn baby, dude. He goes, or work.
Right.
And he goes, you know how long you're going to do that for? I go, he goes, 18 years.
At least.
He goes, yeah, he goes, at least. And then that fucker's still going to hang out at your house and eat your shit. And I go, yeah, okay. He goes, so it's cool, dude.
Yeah, do what you want to do.
He goes, yeah, just be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Don't get him pregnant.
Yeah.
Then boom, he's out.
That worked on you, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, plus
I don't
you
have
also
any kids.
did you see some of your friends'
Besides
lives
the
get?
one
I don't
we
want to say
decided-
lives get ruined because babies don't ruin.
Yeah.
But when you're a teenager, it kind of does.
Yeah, our friend Damien. He got his high school girlfriend pregnant.
Yeah.
And a crack addiction. So together they were not a great combo. But
What we call a bang bang in the business.
that was a bang.
That's going to take you out of the game big time.
It's not that you can't be a good parent as a teenager. The thing is, that's just what you are now.
Yeah.
All the other stuff he's talking about, like that whole like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which that's probably a bad reference because there's kind of a little bit of that. That became a problem in that one too.
Yeah.
Right? But all the fun stops.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You spend the rest of your life trying to find someone to look after your kid if you have a chance to have fun, right?
Right.
That's what you end up doing.
Upside, you're 36 years old, and now you got a drinking buddy.
Okay. All right. I see where you're going with this. Yeah.
That's solid.
And you can be a grandfather by the time you're 55.
Yeah, grandpa.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a badge on or not, but yeah.
Like, imagine me as a grandpa.
No.
That shit would be hype. But I didn't have. There was one thing for me was like, I do not want that kind of responsibility.
Sure.
It was very much in the forefront. I didn't care if I got laid. I really didn't.
Right.
You wanted to, but you're like, that sounds very adult and very much like there's going to be a lot of responsibilities that
Be
go with
complicated,
that.
without a doubt.
When I was growing up, I was more like I forget what the one character in South Park was. I was always afraid to talk to girls and puked all the time. I was more like down that
Stan.
line, which is probably Stan.
Yeah.
So I was more like that, and I think it was probably better off.
Me too.
Like it forced me to be the funny guy, the
Right.
goofball,
Sure.
everybody's buddy, right?
Yeah.
But it also reminded me how much work it is to have relationships, and work it is to try to ejaculate in the presence of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
It's a lot, right?
It is
It's
a
a
lot.
lot, right? So, and the presence, that sounds really like bad, but you know what I'm saying.
It's very sterile, and we love it because this is going on the internet.
Yeah, yeah,
So
fair enough.
That's all good.
your vocabulary is really, really helping out here.
I was better when I got older anyway. It was just, it was easier to kind of navigate that world. I kind of was like, man, I didn't have the same fun that all my high school buddies
Sure.
had with respects to that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I did get lucky. I will admit that.
Oh, so you weren't scared enough to use a rubber?
No, I actually rubbers did not work. I would burp right away.
Too much, again.
Yeah,
Took
too
you out of the
much
moment.
Pressure took you out of the moment. Yeah, my first time was with an older girl who was very experienced.
Yeah.
And she and also was a champ,
Yeah.
right?
An athlete.
But then also everybody knew. Because it was at some party that everybody knew what was going on. So it's like when you went to school, it's like everybody fucking knew. He lost his virginity to that girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Friday night.
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere between 11:30 and midnight.
Yeah.
Did
Different
you guys
times.
hear? I'm going to tell you again, Craig and her.
Are you familiar with the movie Teen Wolf? Where they end up in the closet for 5 minutes. That's Craig Coleman.
It's pretty much.
Last
yeah.
Friday.
Learning about
But
sex.
God bless her.
Did you guys? So obviously, I grew up way pre-internet. So like dirty mags and like anything like that, it was like you'd find out which friend,
Yeah.
his dad,
Yeah.
had the box.
Then you build a
in the
fort
closet.
around this stash.
So I'll tell you guys this one because I've never forgotten this moment. I remember this one kid was like, he let it slip that his dad had dirty mags. Well,
Yeah.
you know, you let that slip in front of a group of boys. They're like, we're going there
I was going
Right.
to say,
Now.
Mike, we're all going to your house.
now.
Yeah.
Because back then, we
Dude.
were kids that were hanging on the streets. Our parents were at work all day long.
Yeah.
No one was home.
But guess
So-
what? There was no other way to get your hands on a dirty mag.
No.
It had to be from somebody's parents.
Yep.
Maybe an older brother, but I never experienced that. It was always someone's parents.
Yeah.
And it would just like get, at best, it would be hand me down.
Oh, yeah.
But usually it would just stay in the family and you would visit that family
Yeah.
member.
Right.
You know?
Ours was our friend Brendan.
Yeah. My friend, I'm not even going to call him out. He listens to the podcast. What's up, dude? You know who you are. We had the stash in a fort
Yeah.
with like a table made out of tires and like
Nice.
a piece of plywood over
Sure.
it, and the thing got all mildewed up.
Yeah.
Like there was spots all over it and shit.
Didn't
and we
stop,
just,
yeah.
Every
Didn't
day, every day we would just have to look at it.
Yeah.
We
Let's
had
go
to look
to
at
the
it.
archive.
Yeah,
So check this. So we tell them that we're going to your house. We got to see the box. We got to get in there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's rite of passage. Just do
Yeah.
this.
For sure.
So we all march over there.
yeah.
Yeah.
He reluctantly, he's like, guys, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get in trouble. We're like, no. We're past that.
Yeah.
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 When you announced it,
Yeah.
it was over.
That, you
let's
surrendered.
yeah, it was not going to not
Yeah,
happen.
this is now Indiana Jones.
Yes.
The fucking Ark of the Covenant is in your dad's closet.
You got a bag of rocks that you put in the drawer. Craig's rock suitcase.
Wait a minute.
I love that.
These are McCall magazines.
So
This is the Sears catalog.
we take him out, and they got the usual. It was, I guess it'd be like Playboy, Hustler,
Penthouse.
whatever.
It was Penthouse. It was Penthouse and Playboy back then, mostly.
So then one of my
Anything else
buddies,
was degenerate.
digs deep into the box,
Oh, shit.
and he pulls out one, and he's like, "Guys, what's going on here? What are they doing?" And he opens it up, and it's a dude peeing on a woman.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "What do you do?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Is this what you do?" I'm like, "I don't know." And like everybody started panicking because
Right.
we stumbled upon a world.
His dad ordered these.
Yes.
Yeah.
His dad
Or-
went deep.
Even better, he walked into a store without a mask on or anything and said,
Right.
I will be purchasing this.
Yeah.
Knocked Up and Horny.
Where did you live?
Issue 63.
I lived in the suburbs, so that was like why even more shocking.
He
when
had
like,
to go to a city.
Yeah.
And you're talking the early 80s?
Yeah.
So it was almost illegal for some of that? Like the mafia ran
Well,
that
I'm going to
shit.
tell you something else. Back then, they couldn't show any real sex. It was always some guy holding his
right.
dick
Yeah,
next
it was
to-
always almost.
Yeah, almost sex.
But that's why when you get to, we went from almost, mostly just women posing,
Sure.
to the almost, to what on earth have we, what's going on here?
Right.
Now everything I ever thought I knew and understood
Right.
is out the window. So now we're in like,
his-
oh shit, we've gone too deep. So now it's cover-up time. We
Oh.
panic.
Oh.
Not only are we confused, but now we were like, this stuff needs to go back.
Right.
The kid is now scarred by his own parents, right?
Yeah, dude, my
so he
dad
doesn't know
orders-
what's going on with his parents. So now we have to make sure we put these things back the way we found them. Like, because he doesn't,
Yeah.
because if you get, it's like, did you find my P magazine?
Right.
It's like a weird conversation to have with
Yeah,
your
how
dad,
did you
right?
get to the Swedish part of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
stack?
When a man loves a woman very much, he makes her kneel down on some tarp.
We never talked about
Any
it again.
piece.
by the way. It's-
Look, when I rail your mom, sometimes I like to pee on her.
You know how crazy it is that like you can just go on Instagram and basically see what we saw in Playboy magazines, or at least Maxim.
Yeah.
It's like right there on your phone.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Well, X is everything now. I mean, X is just.
Instagram keeps sending me stuff that's just like women like walking and their tits shaking and stuff.
Right.
And I can't help but like click on it. I'm like, what's going on here? And then they just keep sending
what's
it.
going on
is
here?
that it?
I wonder what she's going to buy. Is she
What
going
else?
to save the world? What's going on here?
What else do you do, Susan? Do you do other things?
What's the idea that like you used to have to go to Hollywood and get in with Hef and all this stuff?
For
Yeah, yeah,
sure.
Now it's just like click,
Yeah.
you know, and you're in business.
Absolutely.
And you're like, oh, I'm going to go to college, or am I just going to take pictures of myself?
Or make $1 million
Yeah.
doing this.
Right. So I remember we had a nudie bookshop at my friend went on his 18th birthday. He's like, I did it. He's like, I'm 18. He's like, he didn't even smoke. He's like, I bought a pack of cigarettes and I got this Hustler magazine. Like he had to do it.
All the things I can
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
do legally.
He's such a funny dude. And then we went back there later, like as soon as I turned 18, and it was just like a huge room.
Yeah, there's a lot
Just
in there.
full of porn, and I'll never forget Knocked Up and Horny. It was, I think there was a pregnancy section.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See,
Yeah.
that's the stuff
Yeah,
you remember
for
when
sure.
when you start. Like now, it's so easy with the internet to go down rabbit holes on
On accident.
yeah, but
Yeah.
back then you're like it starts with a
Yeah.
what? Wait, now hold on a second, and
Yeah.
by then you're like, well, now
Yeah.
I need to understand,
Right.
Right. The male mind, of course, is like, I'm not going to turn away from this. I need to look deeper into what
You gotta
exactly.
get your eyeballs on
Yeah.
it.
No, we went to Brendan's house, and Brendan had like 2 jobs. We're in like 6th grade. Brendan had his own money, smoked cigarettes, smoked weed, had his brother's porn collection because his brother's in prison.
All right.
I mean, like prison, not even
Yeah.
like jail. He's like, nah, my brother's doing like 3 years. Like, you had to do a real crime to get like 3
Yeah.
years. And Brendan just had this stacks of porn. And you're smoking cigarettes and weed, listening to Black Sabbath. It's like you walked in 12 and you left like 55. Because there's just so much going on at Brendan's. And you're just like, and his parents were just kind of there. They
There's
just
always
kind of
those
showed
parents.
up at some point. And they're watching TV. Brendan already made dinner for everybody. You know what I mean? Like Brendan was a man at like fucking in the 6th grade. He was just this grown ass. Like my dad liked Brendan.
Right.
I want to say by our sophomore year, my dad would smoke weed with Brendan.
Hey, me and Brendan are going to the Elks Lodge tonight.
Yeah, dude. Because Brendan, like, literally, like, he'd see him at work. Hey, what's up, Brendan?
Yeah.
Hey, give me a pack of fucking Marlboros.
I guess
Yeah,
the $1,000,000
Ken.
question is, have we gone too far the other direction? It's like, as far as a society of like,
Right.
we're laughing because it's so ridiculous.
Right.
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 So latchkey, so left field, the things that were acceptable.
Yeah.
Some of it legitimately should no longer be acceptable. I totally
Sure.
understand that. But then you kind of go, all right, have we swung so far that
We have.
that we've limited life experience?
Yes.
Well, I will tell you this. When you do travel in this country,
Right.
there's a lot of places you go and you can't look at porn on your phone very easily. They want you to upload a picture of your ID
Oh, my God.
and
Wait, who's
Like-
they?
So
the
that's
state
a-
of Florida, the state of North Carolina, the state
that's
of
the
Texas.
Christian-
Forgive me if I'm getting something wrong.
You're not.
This is Christian. I
These
don't
are
know about
Christian
Florida.
fundamentalists have
And-
decided what people should and shouldn't
Right.
do with their lives.
Yeah.
The freedom
Okay.
people.
I have never heard this.
I never heard
yeah.
it.
Clearly, I'm living in a cave.
Utah's definitely.
You always forget as a traveler. You're like, let me just check out what's going on this phone. Knocked up and horny. Remember those days? Let's see if I can get that on the phone. And it's
Those
just
days.
and it's just like this whole thing. There's even one where they hired an actual porn star to go, due to the laws in the state of North Carolina, it's they put it on. They put it on. No, Pornhub makes the ad
Right.
or the homepage
Right.
that says write your representatives if you
Right.
don't like this because they're the ones responsible.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people in this country thought it was the Biden administration that did this just because Joe Biden was president.
Right.
And also thought that like Biden got rid of a national abortion rule. That like a right to an
How
abortion.
the fuck do you not know the
People don't
reality
know.
of that
People don't
shit?
know. People don't keep track.
That
And
is
then
so ridiculous.
They attribute everything that happens under that president to, but they don't know about the Supreme Court. They don't know about the 3 branches of government. They don't know.
That's the thing. When it's the fucking Democrats, they're all about suck whatever you want to suck, fuck whatever you want to fuck. Have at it, guys.
Right.
You want to do a little beep beep and a little boop boop? That's cool.
Let's give it up. Democrats don't get enough love these days.
They
Let's
don't,
give it up.
dude, and
That's
they need
freedom,
to-
baby.
They need to make some goddamn noise about
Yeah,
that
right.
shit. God.
Now, where do you stand on pajama pants in public, though? I mean, that's fun. All the other stuff I can
Hey,
see.
look,
there.
I'm from Bakersfield, California. You see a girl in pajama pants, those are the girls my dad was talking about. He's like, look, some girls won't let you get it. Pajama pants girls will. If she's wearing slippers and the fucking pajama pants in a Walmart, she's a hooah.
Your dad has a
Yeah.
most interesting outlook on life.
He
That's
does.
what makes us laugh so much.
It's pretty
That
great,
guy would hitchhike from his tiny ass town to LA when he's like 16 to go see Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly who you need to raise in you. I mean that sincerely.
I
That's
know.
awesome.
He'd be like, yeah, there's fucking chicks and fucking bands, dude. He's like, no, I didn't go to Woodstock. He goes, we had one in Seattle, though. It was pretty great. Your grandpa had no idea where I was for like 3 days.
That's what happened back then too. If your kids didn't call you for 3 days, would you not shit your pants?
can't call-
Would you not be on the
Absolutely.
news?
I have app trackers. They're not. There's
Right,
no.
right.
There's no
I already know
escaping
where
us
you
anyway.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
completely different world. Completely
crazy.
different world.
Your kids are basically tagged.
Yeah. My grandpa would get, my poor grandpa, he was a pretty straight dude. He'd get a call from my dad to be like, they're in Washington.
Right.
Rural Washington, Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, I'm in jail in Arizona. Like, what? How are you in Arizona? I thought you were with your sister in L.A. Yeah, then I got sidetracked. Anyway, we broke into a bar to steal the band's equipment, and I got arrested.
I make one joke about robbing a bank, and here I am.
He's like, put the sheriff or whoever on the phone.
Put the sheriff on the phone.
He'd wire money to him.
That's it.
And he'd be like, I sent you $50 to, what took you so long to get back? I sent $50. He goes, they didn't give me the $50. He goes, they gave me a bus ticket. That son of a bitch. So you haven't eaten in 2 days? It's just like,
Get in here.
all right, come on.
Your dad's 16 doing all this?
Yeah, like
Wow.
15, 16, he just would run away. I guess that's what they called it then. Run
See,
away.
we were somewhat feral in that, you could leave me in my neighborhood for a full day.
Yeah.
And it was a regular day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think
Right.
anything was weird. But you didn't see me like you didn't see me hitchhiking to fucking Washington, D.C. or something.
Hell no. Yeah, he would hitchhike and then hitchhike back. I
Well,
would go to LA for the day, but come back.
Yeah. No, but we also knew no hitchhiking. Because I think that was
Yeah.
still popular when we were born.
It was.
And our lifetime was the cutoff of that.
Well, you mean the Hulk? David Banner was hitchhiking.
Like, yeah, mainstream show.
right.
But
also-
Highway to Heaven. Michael Landon was
Yeah,
the hitchhiker. They
everybody's
were saving the world hitchhiking, dude.
Yeah.
Like that was a good
That's
thing.
true.
right?
But also at that time is when you were aware of the Ted Bundys of the world.
Right, yeah.
The
Everything was
Green
cha-
River Killer.
I don't think news got out so quick. I think in the mid 80s we said, holy shit, we're missing a lot of kids.
Right.
And then they started having
They were on the milk cartons.
Well,
Yeah.
what's his name?
Adam.
Oh, yeah.
That changed
America's
everything.
Most Wanted
America's Most
guy.
Wanted changed everything.
And then that show, Real People, had a
Sure.
special on it. Every single talk show.
Right.
All of a sudden, we were being told, don't talk to strangers, don't get in vans, don't do this. Because that shit was just running hog wild.
dude,
Oh, for sure.
TV. It's 10 p.m. Do you
I
know where
mean,
your
how
kids
many
are?
how many shows when you were a kid was like some old man in a robe was like, "Hey kid, let's go on an adventure,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "Fuck yeah!"
The very special episode
Oh,
of Different Strokes.
that got me, dude.
My dad goes, it came on, and there was the warning up front. My dad just
Right.
goes, you don't want to watch this? And my mom goes, they should know about this
They
stuff.
should.
And we just watched it, and it was horrifying.
Man, what was his?
There was Dudley.
Dudley.
Yeah.
Poor Dudley
Yeah.
got in the bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrifying.
They watched porn together,
Right.
or porn cartoons.
The old man at the bike store.
And Gary Coleman's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he did, dude, and he
And-
left Dudley.
And Dudley's like, yeah, but Dudley could have went too, but he was
That's
was
true.
enjoying it.
He was liking
Yeah.
the free shit.
He was experiencing that Pandora's box.
Dude, they had so many good, very special episodes.
But hold on. He really did he was like, he touched me.
Right.
Right? Like he really did get sexually assaulted
He did.
in the show.
Yes.
Fucking crazy.
And it was I just remember watching that quietly by myself and being like,
Not only are you quiet, it's a weird thing where a sitcom's like dead quiet
right.
for like 5 minutes and you can hear the lights or whatever. It's like 1 a.m. at the Comedy Store where you can just hear all the electricity in the building. And everyone's like quiet as a mouse in the studio audience.
were, dude.
And you're at home like,
Holy shit.
even though it's on TV, you feel like it's your responsibility in front of your parents that you put it on. Like you're the asshole.
I gotta tell you guys what happened to Dudley.
Yeah.
My dad'd be like, "What? What are you watching?
Exactly.
You shouldn't watch that."
Huge impact though back then, man. It was
Oh.
yeah.
Crazy. And then everyone started doing it. Like Family Ties have one.
Yes.
Like he was on Speed or something.
Right.
Tom Hanks was an alcoholic in Family Ties. Tom Hanks was drinking the vanilla extract out of the pantry.
What was he? Was he like her brother or something?
Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Elisa's brother. And he was an alcoholic, dude. And he was flying high.
Yeah.
He was drunk as hell that whole episode.
Dude, Hanks has got quite the what do you call it?
career.
Movie? Yeah, quite the movieography, if you will, the
Oh, yeah,
filmography
dude.
of like
Yeah.
some of the stuff that he's done.
First thing he did was he dressed up like a woman
To
in
get
bosom
cheap
buddies to live in a girl's dormitory.
Yeah.
That's like at the time was so lib and now is just so like
The exact opposite.
Yeah, it's so like, how dare you do that to women?
Right.
It's like, yeah, the dressing up like a woman part's cool. But what are you doing living in a woman's? I thought I was really a woman. Yeah, but you know you're not a real woman, so it's all complicated.
You can't live here.
Yeah.
And that Bachelor Party, that movie, he probably doesn't want anybody ever to watch again. I mean, that was just.
Was
That
that
movie-
the first one?
It was one of his early starring role movies, but I mean, again, it was what was deemed acceptable for comedy back then. I mean, you're talking about like one of the biggest comedies of the '80s was Porky's.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what's acceptable.
Sure.
I'll tell you what's deemed comedy back then: a horse snorting cocaine.
Yeah, fair enough.
Off a glass table
Until it died.
That shit.
Yeah, that was Animal
fucking
House.
hilarious.
Is that Animal House? No, wait.
this was.
What is? Yeah, I remember.
Was that Animal House? Because it's
I
also in
remember
Bachelor Party.
Oh, it is a Bachelor Party. You're right.
And then he goes, and then falls
that's right.
over.
You're right. It was a lot of dead horses in comedy back then.
It's amazing how unfunny Bachelor Party is, considering there's so many funny parts in it. Do you know what I mean?
If you watched it now?
If I put together a highlight reel of all the funny moments in Bachelor Party,
Right.
we'd be laughing our asses off. For some reason, it's not that funny of a movie coherently. Like there's too much time between it or something, or maybe I was too young to get all the jokes. I do know Tawny Katan is like maybe 10 years older than Tom Hanks in this movie, and they're engaged.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's something like off about that movie.
right. There's another movie. I forget what it's called. I feel like it's called School Ties or something. It's where the real
Class.
actor.
It's called Class, probably, right?
Maybe he's like 15,
Uh-huh.
and his parents hire this older woman to have sex with him.
Yeah.
And like she gets naked. Like the real actor's 15. They make out
Right.
naked together.
I'll do you one better. You know what I heard recently? You know Apollonia in Godfather? I heard that actress is only 16 years old
In
that
movie.
movie, and she's butt naked.
Buck ass naked.
Yeah. So,
There you go.
different world.
See, they would call it art, but then you get all these people now that call Hollywood a bunch of pedophiles,
Right.
And then you're trying to like be like, all right, let's simmer down,
Right.
and then you guys are sitting over here talking about,
And then you go, you know what?
Right.
I think they might have a point.
Well, there's the Romeo and Juliet movie. The actress,
well, they don't have a real point, but
she gets naked, and she's like 15.
Uh-huh.
And then she tried to sue them later, but like the director and the studio, everybody's like, she was cool with it at the time.
Right. Oh, yeah, and what about, the 15-year-old was cool
yeah,
with it.
because
Yeah.
15-year-olds make great decisions.
Yeah.
And then she died.
After we told her what to do, she thought she wanted to do it.
Yeah, she did it. Big deal.
Yeah.
It's out there. Go rent it.
Didn't Brooke Shields, wasn't she underage in
but
Blue Lagoon?
Oh, and not Blue Lagoon. She didn't do the nude scenes.
Okay.
She's naked when she's like 11.
Right.
In a movie where she plays a prostitute.
Great.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
I forget what that movie is. I mean, I was her age at the time.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
Right.
what? What's going on?
I think it's hard to try to explain to this generation when the everything is explained like this. Just different times.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's it? That's your whole defense.
Hey, look, my grandma was racist.
Exactly. That's how we look at
Yeah,
that generation.
right.
You're like, oh, okay, so you couldn't
Grandma
have figured
said
it out.
a lot of things.
Yeah.
Couldn't have figured it out. Like, and they go, no, you don't understand. I'm like, really? And then now it's happening to our generation. Like,
Right.
really?
Right.
You didn't know?
No, they don't, like, younger people don't know that we were a very progressive group of people. Like, the 90s, man, like, it just felt like all inclusive,
in.
you know? Like,
Yeah.
everything was cool. Friendship groups were, like, diverse and then that was, like, the perfect area of it. And then, I don't know, and then it's just gone crazy. Like, I can't believe how conservative kids are right now. And I can't believe, and libs have they've gone like a full 180 in a way. They've become kind of full of rules and everything too, you know?
Right, to rein in all the whatever racism or transphobia or whatever.
So they kind of overshoot
So
to
then
make
they
sure.
way overshoot.
And then the conservatives think that the libs have too many rules. And then you get to North Carolina and you can't jerk off. It's fucking...
You're all, but you
fucking
got
crazy.
the wrong kind of rules.
Yeah, so everything's kind of conservative if you look at it.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's going to do it, I think, for the Full Charge
Sweet.
Power Hour. Patreon.com/the Full Charge. We want to get some more decorations or something.
Yeah.
Like and
Hook us up.
subscribe on YouTube.
That's a good one. It's on the Matt Fulcheron page. And comment, subscribe, share, get involved with the Full Charge Power Hour. We're going on 23 years here.
23 years.
No, 10.
I was going to be like...
12.
What?
12 years.
So how about this for one of the possible Patreons?
Yeah.
Craig is a man filled with a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
I think we let him tell us stuff that we don't know, and he's trying to blow our fucking minds. Right?
Yeah, we can do a little 10-minute segment.
I don't think I do.
Well, at least we have at least one episode.
You know what? I just have,
You're filled with knowledge that people just don't want to accept.
I think I have the kind of knowledge. It's like, well, you never hung out with gangbangers that sold crack?
Oh, yeah,
when
no,
you
but
were
I'm talking about
15?
other stuff too. You and I have had a lot of good conversations.
Do I have
about
to see
the
the-
real world that exists?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna,
yeah,
I
I
thought
know
you were
what
gonna
you're
use the
talking
B
about.
word. Bigfoot.
Huh?
I thought you were gonna use the B word. Bigfoot.
No, he's almost got me, over to the other side of like we're not alone.
The UFO
We're
thing?
not-
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's so much
He's got
stuff
very
out there
convincing
now.
information.
There's so much.
Yeah, Craig's UFO corner. We've been
Yeah.
meaning to have this segment for
Yeah.
12 years.
Yeah, I'd
so.
love to. I would
All right.
love to.
Pledge on Patreon and just thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Peace out, fam.
Peace out.
How was that, Aaron?